All righty, welcome on board, my friends. 7 minutes after the hour, the Freedom Express chugging along hour number 2 here, and we do have a full board of callers right now as we speak. Bob from Glendale, Bill from Chandler, Linda from Glendale. I'd ask you to please be patient. Hold on, because I want to continue this thread, but we do have a candidate slated for this segment right now, and I want to speak to him. His name is Andrew Sherwood. He is running for the state Senate. He is on the Democratic ticket, and I don't know if he has any challengers in the Democratic primary, but we'll get to that in a second. But as I said, for the callers, just hold on. I will be with you in a second here, but I do want to give Andrew an opportunity to talk about his race. So welcome on board, ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Sherwood.
Hey, Mike, how you doing today?
Good to hear from you, Andrew. Well, look, I just went to your website. It looks like it's a work in progress, though, right now, correct?
Yes, sir, it is. And we also have a Facebook campaign page, too, if you look up Sherwood on Facebook.
All right, gotcha. Well, listen, Andrew, you are now, I assume, on the ballot, correct?
Yes, sir, I am.
And are you having any primary challenge, or are you uncontested?
Yep, this is actually my district's first primary between two Democrats. We're excited about that. There's another candidate whose name is Robert McDonald, and that's where we're at right now.
Okay, excellent. Well, and just so the audience knows, too, you're in Legislative District 18, you're running for State Senate, and you're going up against none other, if I'm not mistaken, than State Senator Russell Pierce. You
got it. I'm over in LD 18, and I am running against Russell Pierce. That's correct.
All right, so, well, tell us a little bit about yourself, Andrew. Why did you decide to get involved in this particular race, and who is Andrew Sherwood?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I'm from Tucson, Arizona. I'm an Arizona-born native. I graduated with a degree in American history from Arizona State University. And like many people here in the Valley, I'm a transplant. I've spent some time all over the state. So I love Arizona. I'm here in Mesa because I like the community here in Mesa. And I'm running against Russell Pierce because I think it's time for us to put out the flames right here down in our state budget and legislature. What I'd like to do with my campaign is get to work on Main Street values, which is about education, it's about business, and it's about government not creating more problems than it solves.
Right. And there's actually a Main Street in Mesa, isn't there?
Yes, sir, there is.
Yes, indeed.
You got it.
So tell us, Andrew, what do you see are some of the main issues in your particular district right now? What would you say are the top 3 issues as you go out there, you campaign, you press the flesh? What are you hearing from your constituents?
Absolutely. You know, I'm out there door knocking 5 to 7 days a week, and you can imagine that whenever I talk to someone, I say, look, what do you want to leave me with? What do you want me to know about you? And what I'm hearing pretty often is that people want to talk about immigration. They want to talk about jobs. They want to talk about education. So I would say of everything I've heard, those are the 3 that come up almost 10 times out of 10 times. There's no question. That's what's on Arizona's mind.
Okay, so immigration, jobs, and education, correct?
You got it.
All right, so let's start with immigration then. Where does Andrew Sherwood stand on immigration? Obviously, you just heard about Senate Bill 1070. You heard that the district judge, Susan Bolton, declared a temporary injunction on Senate Bill 1070. Where do you stand on that particular bill? And then also, what are some of your candid thoughts about immigration here in Arizona?
Well, you know, it's not as simple as saying where does somebody stand on SB 1070, which is a question I get all the time. The real question is, where do you stand on immigration that's legal and that's illegal? And I'm a member of this sort of idea that we need to have comprehensive immigration reform. It's really important that we recognize here in Arizona that immigration is being used as a smokescreen. We have to call it out as we see it, and that is that the opposition is running on immigration because they've not delivered the budget. They've not delivered education. They've not delivered these other important things that Arizona needs. So where I'm at on immigration is I think we need comprehensive immigration reform, and I'll tell you what, there's a group here in Arizona. It's the Arizona Employers for Immigration Reform, and they've got some pretty good ideas on how we might do that.
Well, let me ask you this, just point blank. If you were in the legislature and you were a state senator representing Legislative District 18, would you have voted for Senate Bill 1070?
No, I would not have.
Okay.
Absolutely not. It is a federal issue. There's no doubt about it. You know, if Alaska decided that they didn't like, America's defense policy, or if they wanted to create their own Alaskan currency, you can't do that. You know, there's certain things you just can't do, and that is not part of the legislature's job. The legislature is here to work on the budget. It is not in the job description to do immigration.
No doubt about it. Well, let's get to the second issue. You talked about education, and by all benchmarks and parameters, particularly when you look at funding per pupil, Arizona's at the bottom of the barrel.
Oh, I know.
What are some of your thoughts on education and elaborate?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Arizona needs to make up its mind and say that we're going to tackle education and we're going to make it a priority. You wouldn't believe how many times while on the campaign trail I've been asked, how can we improve education without spending any money? And that is a question that really concerns me. That scares me because I think we're trying to fix education without really digging into it and making it a priority. So I'll tell you what, there's a lot of things we can do for education. But one of the things we need to do is start focusing on the individual and how the individual can start learning. Not so much, it's not a transfer of knowledge from my mind to yours. It's about how to teach kids to get what they need from education. It's about creating a learning environment for them where we can give them whatever it is that they need to succeed. It's not about us telling them what works best for them. It's the other way around. They need to tell us what's best for them.
Sure. What are your candid views on vouchers and charter schools?
I wish charter schools had a little bit more regulation. When I hear things like it's real loose with what they can teach or how they might get it, or, talk about homeschooling, for example. There's no regulations there. All of these things bother me. School vouchers, I understand both sides of the argument, but I'm not a big fan of it. If I were going to like school vouchers, it would need to have some regulations on it, which I've not seen yet.
What about vouchers for kids in certain socioeconomic classes?
Mm-hmm.
So,
give me a little bit more of an example of what
so
you're
in other words, rather than just say a school voucher of X dollars being available to everyone, but make it a means test. So in other words, kids who are of less economic means, kids whose parents are on the lower rung of the socioeconomic ladder, that they could get sort of vouchers.
Well, I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter where you are on the ladder. All kids should be entitled to the same great education here in the state, and they're not getting that. So I think I don't want to say it's a moot point, but, let's make sure that we deliver the same solid product to everybody wherever you are.
Sure. All right, and let's get to the last issue that you spoke about, that the triumvirate, so to speak, the three issues that you're hearing on the campaign trail. And this happens to do with jobs and the economy here in Arizona. What are you hearing on the street, and what are some of your viewpoints on how to improve the economy in this particular state?
Yeah, definitely. Almost every house that I went to would say, we need help with economics. We need help with money. We're losing our house. We're in foreclosure.
And did you give them money, actually, while you were there?
Come on, man. No. I don't have any money to give. I'm struggling just like everybody else. That's why I'm doing this.
Right. So, all right, good. I interrupted you there.
Yeah. You know what? What we need to do is a couple of different things. We need to bring people from overseas and from out of state to come here. And I'll tell you what, that's not going to happen with what's going on right now. You cannot turn on the news today and not hear about the governor or Russell Pierce or maybe the sheriff telling you about how there's bodies and heads being found in the wash and that there's crime going everywhere. When someone's outside of Arizona and they're considering, should I move here? Should I relocate a business here? What should I do there? All they're going to hear about is bad schooling. They're going to hear about no jobs. And they're going to hear about crime in Arizona. We need to change the image of Arizona and remind people that this is a great state to live. We have a lot of good things to do here, and Arizona should take advantage of some of its natural resources, such as solar energy. We should attract senior citizens and a few other things. What I would like to see happen in Arizona, and particularly Mesa, is I want people giving themselves jobs. I want people starting their own businesses, people digging back into their own minds and getting creative in the process of what's best for them.
Excellent. And then one last question here before we conclude this interview. What about the budget deficit, the state budget deficit? I mean, it's clear that, we're billions of dollars in the hole, and any thoughts on how to close that budget deficit?
It's interesting that so many candidates run on this idea of, I'm never going to raise taxes, and then what happens is you go and look at the budget and you realize that you have to raise taxes. You realize that there's no money there, so how do you actually raise taxes without saying you've raised taxes or whatever you want to call it? And they put it to a vote with Prop 100, and, that's kind of the way that people are circumnavigating the whole issue of saying that you raise taxes with you push the burden on the people, and you show them what's going to happen if you don't. I think that Arizona needs to accept that it's time to generate more money as a state, get more money from coming out of state, and that will help raise up our budget. You have to make the budget a priority. You have to. That's what the legislature is here to do.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, listen, tell people about your website, and if they want to contact you, Andrew, how can they get involved in your campaign or participate in what you're trying to accomplish?
We'd love all the attention we can get. We'd love volunteers. We're still looking to pick up some $5 contributions from people right there in my district.
So you're running as a clean election candidate,
Yes,
then?
sir, I am. Yeah, and you can get in touch with us at SherwoodForSenate.com, and you can use the number 4 or spell the 4 out. We've also got a campaign line that's 623-850-VOTE. That's 623-850-8683. Get in touch with us one way or the other. We are on Facebook. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love your help. We need about 20 more 5s.
Sounds doable.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right, listen, Andrew, well, thank you for your time today, and best of luck in your race. And depending on who wins, you or your opposition, it's going to be a tough race, no doubt about it, against Senator Russell Pierce.
Well, we're up for it. We are up for it. And I appreciate you having me on the show. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.